Good morning, friends, skeptics, ex-cult members, and lovers of theological chaos. Grab your coffee, strap in, and prepare yourself, because Steven Anderson has a brand new church building and he wants you to know it's an upgrade. Yes, again. That's why this one's called a new upgrade. Because when your first downgrade turns into a spiritual foreclosure, just slap new on it twice and call it a victory. Let's break it down, one hilarious red flag at a time. Steven opens with a bold statement. This used to be a theater. True, decades ago. But what it really was, right before he moved in, was a prosperity gospel church. Yes, the kind he's mocked for years. You know, the ones that say, God wants you rich, healed, and debt-free by Tuesday. Now he's renting from them. Not exactly the Reformation 2.0, huh?
It's like spending years ranting about fast food and then buying a Taco Bell franchise because your kitchen burned down.
Better accost it's because you're preaching downhill. Next, we step into the auditorium where everything, and we mean everything, is on an incline. Not metaphorically, physically. This church is designed so that no matter what, you're going downhill. And it's true, not just spiritually, but literally. The floor slopes, the seats are riveted into the incline, which means there's no rearranging anything, no flexible seating, no bringing back the comfy recliners from the old building. So why does he still have those recliners? Stored in the back like lost treasures of a fallen empire. The recliner chairs from the old building are sitting in boxes waiting for a future that isn't coming. They're too wide for the incline. They can't be installed. They look like they belong in a 1990 movie theater, not a rented church from prosperity gospel gone bankrupt inked. But Steven kept them. Why? Because nothing says I'm emotionally fine like hoarding 30 recliners that nobody will ever sit in again. You think we're done with irony? No. Behind the pulpit center stage is a massive painting of a cruise ship. At first glance, it seems random, until you remember one of Steven's key financial backers, the guy who organized cruises for the church, died in a freak car crash after Steven publicly prayed for God to curse people who supported his gay children.
That's not a metaphor. That happened. And now?
There's a cruise ship behind him every time he preaches. Every single time. What's that ship carrying? A theology degree? A lightning rod? The ghost of failed prophecies? You decide. Steven shows off his counseling room. It's got one chair, just one. This is where I meet with people. Where do they sit? Apparently counseling now involves watching Steven sit in a chair and talk to himself. Maybe that's how he's always done it. Next up, the prophet's chamber. That's what he calls it. He even says, I'm not going to open that door. It has a shower, he says, for when we work out. You know, we the collective, we have people not working out there, not showering there, and definitely not trying to share a towel with their pastor. What's behind the door? He won't say. But if your prophet's chamber includes a shower, a locked door, and 0 witnesses, congratulations, you've built the Airbnb of suspicion. Steven proudly shows off a gym he set up in a literal closet. Dumbbells, maybe a treadmill, right next to a Wi-Fi router that looks like it was installed by Radio Shack in 2008. The gym is great, he says, especially if you want to run in the neighborhood. Yes? Because running in the most dangerous part of Phoenix sounds like a great idea. Get your workout, your mugging, and your faith tested all in one jog. He tells us the incline gives the room great acoustics. You know, for all the people who are still listening, which at this point is a handful of yes men, one guy with AirPods in, and a crowd of ex-members watching on YouTube for the roast content. Steven proudly shows us his soul-winning map, which he says is almost complete. He's been saying that for 5 years. The map hasn't moved. Why? Because the people who actually did the work, who knocked the doors, brought in guests, lived for the mission, are gone. Kicked out. Burned out. Walked out. The only people left are die-hard loyalists, internet trolls, and a growing number of people in the comment section saying, wait, this was a real church? He ends the tour with a casual shrug. We all just have to drive 10 minutes further. Steven, you didn't move across town. You moved into the meth zone. This is the part of Phoenix where even the rats wear pepper spray, where red lights aren't a traffic signal. They're an invitation to get carjacked. It's not 10 minutes further. It's 20 years backward. Steven Anderson didn't upgrade. He imploded, then put a cruise ship behind the blast crater and called it Revival. But here's what matters. If you're an ex-member and you've been doubting your sanity, you were right. If you've never heard of this madness and just discovered it, welcome to the show. And if you're still inside the echo chamber, watching this tour like it's normal, run, don't walk, because that incline leads one way, downhill, straight into the cruise ship of delusion. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time in the storage closet of forsaken recliners. Stay caffeinated, stay snarky, and for the love of good theology, stay out of the prophet's chamber.